Hello guys, Disney Freak 09 here, and today is the 10-year anniversary of Disney Infinity 1.0. It released 10 years ago today on August 18th, 2013. So I kind of wanted to reminisce and give you guys some of my favorite Disney Infinity memories, and also I wanted to talk to you guys about some of the things that were supposed to come to the game before it got canceled. I was a huge fan of Disney Infinity. It was like a game that I played every single day from like my tween years. The game released when I was 10 years old and it got canceled when I was 14. So like my middle school years, it was just a huge part of my life, and I honestly think it's one of my favorite video games of all time. That first time that I saw the trailer to see Mr. Incredible, Sully, and Jack Sparrow interacting kind of blew my mind as a kid, because we never really got to see that with any Disney video games. I remember that I pre-ordered Disney Infinity 1.0 at GameStop, and during the time, they actually gave away a free figure if you pre-ordered, and I chose Mater, so I got the starter pack and Mater day one. The day before Disney Infinity came out, I was actually at a wedding, and I remember once it hit midnight, I looked over to my dad and I started freaking out because it is officially the release day of Disney Infinity, and I remember just being like, I'm gonna get to play Disney Infinity today. And I remember going to GameStop and getting it, bringing it home, unboxing it, and just being so excited. I remember opening up that game, plugging in the base to my Xbox 360, and then putting that first figure on and just freaking out. I also remember watching the Toy Box TV YouTube show every single week. This had two hosts, John Vignacchi and Allison, and they would just go over things coming to Disney Infinity in the future, what's going on currently in the game. They would showcase different Toy Box maps, and I'd be so excited every single week when a new episode would come out.
This is going to be your destination to be first to know about all the latest and greatest news from the world of Disney Infinity.
It was also the very first community I was ever a part of on social media. The minute that I got social media, I wanted to connect with other people that played the game, and I remember making so many friends over on Instagram and YouTube who also shared a love for Disney Infinity. But now I'm going to go over some of the things that were supposed to come to the Disney Infinity games, but it got scrapped or it got canceled when Disney Infinity was canceled overall. I'm going to first go over the thing that I think is the coolest thing that could have came to the game, which is the 12-inch figures. So these 12-inch figures would be bigger versions of the Disney Infinity characters. They all wouldn't be a foot tall, but they would be significantly taller than the regular figure. These would have sold for $45, which is 3 times the amount of a normal figure, and would work just the same way as your regular character, but they would have more abilities and movesets. And the actual figure of the characters would be more detailed and would light up. And we know about 9 of the characters that were supposed to get these 12-inch figures. Buzz Lightyear, Darth Vader, Elsa, Hulk, Hulkbuster, Jack Skellington, Lightning McQueen, Ursula, and Yoda. Now, we don't have the figure designs for Ursula or Yoda, but you guys can see all the other 12-inch figures on the screen right now. You guys know my favorite movie franchise is Toy Story, so of course Buzz Lightyear is my favorite, but please let me know, which of these figures would you have wanted in your collection? All of these figures were very late in development, that even some of the prototypes were made for the figures. They were going to release sometime during Disney Infinity 3.0, which I would guess towards the end, so it could have came out probably in late 2016. Now, before I talk about some of the things that were supposed to also come to Disney Infinity 3.0, I'm going to go back and talk about some of the things that were supposed to come out in Disney Infinity 1.0. Now, we have Phineas and Perry in the game, but did you know that we were supposed to get Ferb and Dr. Doofenshmirtz? There were even character models for Ferb and Dr. Doofenshmirtz, and they were also supposed to release in Disney Infinity 1.0, but for some reason they got scrapped. I'm not really sure why though. Phineas and Ferb is my favorite Disney Channel show, so I really do wish that we got these characters in the game. Now, also for Disney Infinity 1.0, we were supposed to get 2 characters for the movie Oz the Great and Powerful. And we were supposed to get Dr. Isaac Diggs and Esmeralda in the game, also known as Oz and the Wicked Witch of the West. And both of these characters were spotted for promotional material for Disney Infinity 1.0 inside of stores. And here is what that promotional art looks like in the store. I'm very sorry that it's blurry. This is the only image on the internet. And here is a character design for Esmeralda. We don't have a character design for Oz. Not really sure why these characters were scrapped, considering that we had the Lone Ranger and Pirates of the Caribbean in the game. Now let's jump back to Disney Infinity 3.0 and go over some of the characters that we were supposed to get. A lot of you guys remember Spot from Pixar's The Good Dinosaur, but we were originally supposed to get a figure for Arlo. Now the Arlo figure was scrapped because they kind of knew that the movie would bomb, and I guess they didn't want to put all of their money and resources into developing a ton of these figures, just like how they did with the Hulk figure. And if you don't know that story, basically Disney Infinity produced 2 million Hulk figures and only sold 1 million of them, and they had a very big loss considering they had 1 million of these Hulk figures that were just never sold. So I guess that they had the same thought with Arlo. Disney Infinity was canceled in May of 2016, but there were still a couple of more Disney movies that were going to release later in the year that were going to have promotional tie-ins with Disney Infinity. Those being Moana and Rogue One. Now, Moana was supposed to get a playset and it would have Moana and Maui in it. And Moana would come with the playset and Maui would be sold separately. And these were super far in development that there were even pictures of the Moana playset. Now, this playset looked beautiful. Just look at the water alone and all of the vibrant colors. I really wish that we got to play this playset. I'm sure it would have been super fun. And Moana is honestly probably one of the most popular Disney movies. I always see it trending on Disney+, so I'm sure this would be a big hit for Disney Infinity. Now, supposedly there was going to be a Rogue One playset, but we don't have any details on the playset. We only have pictures of the character models. And here are 4 of the characters that were supposed to be added from Rogue One. You have Jyn Erso, K2SO, Baze Malbus, and Chirrut Imwe. Now, I'm sure other characters were supposed to come to this playset like Saw Gerrera or Cassian Andor, but we don't have any of their character models. And I know he's not a part of Rogue One, but we were supposed to get another character for Commander Cody. I know that Cody is a fan favorite character, so I'm sure a lot of you guys wish that you got him in the game. And before we talk about 4.0, there's one last thing that was supposed to come to 3.0. Peter Pan. Now, this guy is very, very special to me. If you don't know the story about the Peter Pan figure, his character was chosen during the Toy Box Summit. The Toy Box Summit was an event where all of the greatest toy box creators came and built their own toy boxes and competed for a prize. And they gathered everyone that competed in this tournament to pick the next figure for Disney Infinity, and they all agreed on Peter Pan. He was supposed to come to 3.0, but the game of course got canceled. But many figures of him were made because he was probably going to come out in late 2016 and they had his figure ready to release. To the point that they had factories producing him, and when Disney Infinity got shut down, they had to throw out all of the figures. But luckily, some of the figures from the factory got to go home with someone and they sold them online, and I was able to get one of them. And this figure right here is probably my favorite thing that I have in my entire collection. Now let's go and talk about Disney Infinity 4.0. Disney Infinity 4.0 would have released in late 2016 or early 2017, and they had very big plans for the next installment. They had planned material for the following movies: Cars 3, Star Wars The Last Jedi, Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales, Coco, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and Thor Ragnarok. Now, I'm not sure which of these would have got playsets and which of them would have just got characters, but I'm sure a lot of these figures would have been mind-blowing. A very big live-action movie released in 2017, Beauty and the Beast, and they were going to be getting figures for Disney Infinity 4.0. So just like Maleficent and Alice Through the Looking Glass, this would be the live-action versions of the iconic characters. So you have Emma Watson's Belle and Dan Stevens' Beast. And I do think these figures look cool, but I think I would have preferred the animated versions of the characters. Now let's talk about Marvel. Now Marvel would have got a few things added in 4.0, not as much as 3.0 that we know of, but the 2 characters that we know of would have been Doctor Strange and Spider-Gwen. Now, the thing that surprised me most about Spider-Gwen is this is before Into the Spider-Verse, and I remember at the time when this got revealed that she would have came to the game, I was kind of confused since she was not a popular character. I, being a big Marvel fan, wasn't too familiar with her. Now, something that was supposed to come to Disney Infinity 4.0 that I think everyone has been asking for years was Goofy. Goofy was finally going to come in Disney Infinity 4.0. They even had his character design right here, but of course, got canceled. You had Sorcerer Mickey in Disney Infinity 1.0, you had Donald Duck in 2.0, and then you had classic Mickey and Minnie in 3.0. I'm surprised they didn't want to add all of the iconic Mickey and Friends characters in 1.0. Like, just imagine you have these sensational 6 along with some other characters like Pete and Oswald. And now we're going to talk about the thing that we know most about Disney Infinity 4.0. This would have been a playset taking place inside of the toy box. This playset was taking place in Agrabah, but it was not just about Aladdin. But in this playset that was supposed to come out, you would have other Disney franchises in it. So at one point during this playset, you were going to have Jafar making a deal with Boba Fett, and then Boba Fett would send down some stormtroopers to attack the characters. Now, there is a lot of footage for this game, and I'm going to give you guys a great link for you guys to go and check out. So go over the description or click in the top right to go and see all of the game footage for this Agrabah playset. And along with this playset, we were supposed to get another Disney villain, Jafar. And that was everything that was supposed to come to Disney Infinity but got scrapped. Now, unfortunately, the Toys to Life genre of gaming is dead, and I don't think we'll ever get to see this again, but there's always a little bit of hope that one day it can return. As we celebrate 10 years of Disney Infinity, please let me know some of your favorite memories that you have with the game, and if you even still play it today. Every couple of months, I'll pop on Disney Infinity and, go and check out my interior, replay through some of the playsets to get some of that nostalgia back. And if anyone from the Disney Infinity team is watching, I personally just want to say thank you so much for contributing so much to my childhood. You guys made 3 fantastic games, and these games are going to be a part of me until I die. And thank you for giving me infinite possibilities and endless fun. Bye, guys.